If your mind was blown from last week's episode on how your life and teaching experience can be content, you're going to be amazed when you hear how much content you can create just from your resources. So teacher authors, go ahead and reheat that cup of coffee because I'm your host, Cassandra Foster, and we're about to get schooled in socials. Welcome back to Schooled in Socials. Last week, we explored how your life and teaching experience can be used to create content for social media marketing. And I bet you were more than a little surprised. So if you haven't heard that one yet, make sure to go back and take a listen. If you're all caught up, I'm ready to wow you a second time by telling you how every resource you create can be made into a ton of different content. Let's get into it. Would you believe me if I told you that just by looking at one of your resource listings on TPT, you could potentially create 7 pieces of social media content or more? I'm visualizing you all shaking your head right now and calling me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I am serious. That listing you poured your heart and soul into isn't just a one and done thing. It has so much potential to go beyond just the Teachers Pay Teachers page and help you create great content for your social media marketing. So in rapid fire and in no particular order, here is what you can use from your TPT listing to create content for social media. Product photos, reviews, frequently asked questions, video previews, product description, standards covered in the resource, and who that resource is for. Whew. Okay, I know you're thinking, that doesn't sound like a social media post, but let me explain. Let's start with your product photos. You probably uploaded a few gorgeous photos of your resource to showcase its features. Perfect. Grab those same images and create a promotional post where you tell teachers all the great things your resource has to offer. Then there are reviews. Nothing sells better than social proof. Grab a few of your top reviews and create a carousel with them, or pop them into a story with a link so people can purchase, and then bank that story in a highlight. Moving right along. People often ask questions about your resources in the Q&A section. Take a peek at those questions, share them with your audience, and the answers in a carousel, or a talking head reel, or a story. These are all going to help combat any objections that people might have to purchasing your resource. A lot of you out there are also including video previews for your resources. That took a lot of work, so repurpose it. Take bits and pieces of the preview and turn them into reels to showcase your resource. My guess is that you also spent a lot of time getting your description just right with keywords and sentences that truly compel someone to buy. Guess what? That is actually a gold mine of copy that can be used in any caption you write about that resource. Then I bet you took time to align your resources to standards and list them in your description. Share that with your audience on social media. Let them know this isn't just another worksheet from Joe Schmo. You did your homework, and here is what they can work towards for standards in their classroom. You could do this in an infographic or even on your stories. And finally, you made this resource with a specific set of teachers and students in mind, and you listed that at the top section of your product listing. So don't forget to share that information on social media as well. Seriously, the more you pull from your product posting on TPT to showcase on social media, the easier your life will be because you will be spending less time stressing about what to post and worrying that you're always repeating yourself. Plus, the best benefit of all is that your audience will have a full, clear picture of your resource, which means they are more likely to see its value and make that jump from just passively consuming your content to navigating off of Instagram and making that purchase. Now, that is a lot, but when it comes to your resources as content, I'm not stopping there. We actually need to take a step back and look at the creation of your resource as content. That's right. All of the hard work you put into planning and creating your resources can be used as content to help sell them on your social media. Here's what that looks like. You sit down to decide the next resource to create from your list of ideas. Boom. Throw a poll in your stories with a few options and let your followers decide. What better way to know what will sell best than having your ideal audience tell you what they most need or are most interested in seeing? Awesome. You have your resource idea ready to go. Now you need to outline what the resource will look like. I bet you have a routine you go through when planning out your resources. Maybe you sketch it out on paper or pull up a go-to template. Either way, invite your audience into that process. Let them see the magic that goes into creating each and every resource. Showing that process would make a great reel or story to help hype people up about not only the resource you're creating, but all of your resources. Okay, you've planned out that resource, and it is time to now build it. Invite your audience in again. Do you start with the text, with the clip art, something else? Why? Show them your process. Again, this is great hype. You could even add an engagement sticker asking who wants to be the first to know when that resource is complete. Gather up those IG handles of everyone who says yes, and then send them a quick little message when the resource goes live in your store. This is a great way to build those connections that are imperative for selling. There's no doubt if you've been around for a hot minute, you know the importance of analyzing your social media data to help you reach your big business goals. But if the thought of diving into that data on your own has been holding you back from the content clarity that it can bring, I've got your back. With my quarterly data analysis service, I'm here to be your data bestie right alongside of you, diving into your analytics and outlining a content plan so that you can take effective action. This way, you get all the benefits of having your eyes on your data to help make goals for the new year without having to take a course or wade through the numbers by yourself. It's time to tap into the magic of your social media data, and you don't even have to add anything to your plate to do it. Just hop on the waitlist right now in the show notes. I know your future self will thank you. So we've talked about how your resource listing and content creation process is a treasure trove of content for your social media marketing. But you know what? We haven't even really talked about the actual physical resource itself yet. And you best bet that that printable or digital resource is again a treasure trove of content waiting to happen. And what better way to turn your resource into engaging content than through Reels? So here are 3 Reels I suggest you make for all of your resources, or at least your best sellers. Number 1, create a Reel that shows off your resource's features. This can be simply done by laying out the different pieces of your resource and pointing to its different features, or can be done by completing different parts of the resource so that the teacher can get an idea of how their students will interact with it. Number 2, create a Reel that shows how to prep the resource, what needs to be printed and cut out, added to a folder, etc. Or if you have digital resources, what information does the teacher have to enter into it before starting? Or what do they need to do to send it to their students so their students can access it? This is a great way to really prove that your resources are low prep if you are marketing them as such. And number 3, showcase different ways to use your resource. We've all been teachers, and we know there is more than one way to use a resource, even if it's just a simple worksheet. Get creative and show teachers all of the ways they can use that resource in their classrooms. The more a teacher can see how they can use a resource with their students, how it can be remixed and potentially used more than once, or how it can work for all of their kiddos no matter their level, that is going to create some real buy-in and make them more likely to want to spend their dollar bills. When it comes down to it, your resources are the lifeblood of your social media marketing, so make them take center stage. Utilize your creation process, the resource itself, and the lovely TPT listing you made to create content that will help convert your audience members into customers. If you've been amazed with the ideas from this Everything is Content series, I want you to make sure to share this episode to your stories with one way you never thought of using your resources as content before. All right, cold coffee friends, thanks so much for listening. If you're loving getting schooled in socials, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Also, I would love it if you left a review so that other teacher authors like you can start getting schooled in socials too. All right, I'll see you in the next episode.